happy Friday to you. Happy St. Patrick's Day. And go Cats. We'll just leave it at that, right? Thank you all for being here and being a part of the program. I do want to make mention that soon after my feet hit the floor this morning, started missing my buddy, Carter Conley, and his ritual of being our favorite leprechaun and donning the hat and the blinking necklace and everything else he had, and the way he loved to celebrate St. Patrick's Day and some of his Irish heritage. It always made for a good day. Missing our buddy a little more today than usual, and every day certainly. With that said, tonight's program recorded a couple of hours earlier because I've got to get home. I've got a birthday celebration with mother-in-law Sheila celebrating her birthday, and then of course the Cats game, and both kids are home. Yay! So that's good. That's a good day for me. However, that doesn't mean we're short on news tonight. We're not. I've got a report that I've been sitting on now for a couple of weeks. That's not entirely true. It's taken on and off throughout that to get a proper and good edit on this, because it was a little it was as much out of my wheelhouse as anything in this world could be. And it's also a follow-up or addition to a wonderful story we had in the Sagersville Independent a couple of publications back. So join me as we take a look at McGoffin County's youngest and I'm going to say most accomplished cancer researcher in just a few moments. And we'll talk with Miss Ashton Long in just a few seconds. Inspiring is just one of the many words that I'm having trouble finding to try to describe this young lady. So with that said, a couple of quick updates from the legislature. Some of the last minute votes after years of House passage and Senate demise. A vote of 26-11 in the Kentucky Senate passed Senate Bill 47, which would allow non-smoking marijuana in the state of Kentucky. We've covered, of course, all the other aspects therein prior to, but just to let you know, it indeed passed. The House passed Senate Bill 9 by nearly unanimous vote, 96-3, to make hazing a crime in the Commonwealth. It would create a felony charge for hazing that results in serious injury or death of a student, punishable by up to 5 years in prison. And also in the same bill, an individual accused of recklessly engaging in hazing would face misdemeanor charges as well and potential jail time. And the Kentucky House and Senate have both passed Senate Bill 150 in its latest and last form, dealing with, of course, students and a number of gender-affirming care items. The Kentucky Board of Education or the Kentucky Department of Education, under this bill as it was passed, shall not require or recommend policies or procedures for the use of pronouns that don't coincide with the student's gender and their original birth certificate, regardless of what their preference of that pronoun would be. It also goes to make illegal surgical and non-surgical gender transition care for a minor in the Commonwealth. It also dictates that a healthcare provider would not be allowed and could be charged if they were to prescribe or administer any drug to delay or stop normal puberty, prescribe or administer testosterone, estrogen, or progesterone in amounts greater than would normally be produced by a healthy person of the same age and size, perform any sterilization surgery or any surgery that artificially constructs tissue to give the appearance of genitalia differing from the minor's actual sex, or remove any healthy or non-diseased body part or tissue. Now there's some other language in there as well that says that students would not be allowed to use restrooms or other facilities such as shower stalls or locker rooms that are reserved for students of a different biological sex. It specifically says that a student who asserts to school officials that his or her gender is different from his or her biological sex and whose parent or legal guardian provides consent to school officials shall be provided with the best available accommodation, but that accommodation shall not include the use of school restrooms, locker rooms, or shower rooms designed for use by students of the opposite biological sex, while students of the opposite biological sex are present or could be. That's pulled directly from the bill in and of itself. The bill does account for and give acceptable accommodations to students with parental consent as well. There are a number of other things as well, included some of which we have already gone over in prior versions of the bill. So with that said, when I come back, you have to, even if you've read the story in the paper, you're still going to have to be just awestruck by this unspeakably, indescribably brilliant young lady who is way ahead of her time and that of others. We'll talk with Miss Ashton Long and her cancer research in just a moment. McGoffin Farm Bureau and manager Doug Green are proud to welcome Agent Jeff Salyer to the agency. Jeff's lifelong knowledge of the community and our people make him an immediate asset for all of your auto, home, life, commercial, and retirement investments. They're waiting for your call or visit at McGoffin Farm Bureau. The reassurance of getting your medications and over-the-counter needs at Sayersville's oldest and most trusted pharmacy, the convenience of curbside pickup and call-ahead service, and the fact that you can walk in, order to go, or sit down and get gourmet quality hot fudge brownies, nachos, shakes, coffees, hot dogs with homemade sauce, desserts, and more makes it more than your hometown Good Neighbor Pharmacy. It's a destination in downtown Sayersville, Frazier's Prater Drugstore. It doesn't get any sweeter than that. Banking from home or on the go has never been easier and will forever be an important and necessary part of life. And Sayersville National has been and will always be at the forefront of meeting and exceeding your financial needs and giving you the safest and most worry-free online and mobile banking so you can worry about the important things, like what's for dinner. They're there when you need them at the main and branch locations of the Sayersville National Bank. There's no missing that this is the new McFarland and Tinker Law Office location on the Mountain Parkway in the former Farm Bureau building in Sayersville, just like there's no denying that their nearly 60 years of legal experience has won their clients millions and millions of dollars in disability, auto accident, and wrongful death cases. It's where your case matters to you and to us. McFarland and Tinker, also Griffey approved. So when you sit down and you talk with Ashton Long, as Heather, my editor, and I did at the McGoffin County High School a few days ago, you have to ask yourself, how does a person, let's begin with a doctor or a researcher that has decades of education and experience and resources, how does that type of a person get to be a leader and not just a participant, but a leader in cancer research? It's just so amazing that is something that someone can dedicate their life to and be successful at it and helping to try to find a cure. Now ask yourself how a high school sophomore, now senior, does the same thing. Cancer and genetics and biomarkers, algorithms, well, they aren't a part to this extent of any high school curriculum anywhere, but for Ashton Long, that didn't create any boundaries, and she has become a leader, a pioneer that literally, it could happen, that this young lady could find a cure for cancer in our lifetime, certainly hers. So how does a teenager do that?
Yeah, so the project is different. So the project is the creation of a cancer identification algorithm that leverages novel biomarker features.
Hang on, we gotta. I have to write all that down and then figure out what it means.
Cancer identification algorithm that leverages novel biomarker features to identify tumor suppressors and oncogenes in various cancer types. Obviously.
So the reason why I started the project was after my papa, so Forrest, was diagnosed with colon cancer. It inspired me to start researching cancer because my entire family and I are really close-knit. So his diagnosis really hit home, and I didn't want others to go through the same things we did. So that's why I began studying cancer research. My mentors I work with are from the University of Florida.
Mentors that she found, that she sought out and researched at the United States Army Research Lab.
So, since I've always had a passion in STEM, I wanted to do research for a long time. I just didn't start it till I actually had an inspiration for it. But I got in contact with them because there was nobody around me who knew how to computer code, and there wasn't a lot of STEM, there's not a lot of STEM resources in this area, so I had to do a lot of outreach. So I found this virtual mentoring program called JSHS. JSHS, which is through the JSHS.
I had the wrong ones.
Which is another program through the military. And it was through that platform that I met my two mentors.
All this while she was a sophomore, with a goal of narrowing her focus specifically on genetics and creating herself a computer program to identify mutations and finding someone, the United States Army, who could teach her how to write the computer code.
So what I would do with my mentors is we'd have weekly meetings. So besides, meetings with them teaching me how to code, we also had progress meetings just to see what work I've done that week, or if I had any more questions, not concerning coding or anything, maybe with the data set. Because with the program, we obviously had to put a data set into the algorithm. So that's usually what we would talk about. And then we started preparing for science fairs when we hit about a year into the project. So I competed in 2 different science fair systems. Yeah, there's 2 different systems.
How did you find them?
Google. I Googled. I Googled them.
I think we're finding a hole here where they need to find you an avenue.
So the 2 science fair systems I competed in were JSHS and ISEF, which ISEF is the biggest science fair in the world. It's the largest international science fair.
Just before this interview with Heather and I, Ashton won first in robotics and computer science, the Regeneron Biomedical Science Award, and she was named an overall International Science and Engineering Fair winner, moving on to Dallas, Texas in the next month or so for the international competition for her project.
Ashton competed last year over at Big Sandy in the science fair where she won first place in the biomedical science and engineering. That then took her on to Louisville, I believe, where she won there, and then she competed in Atlanta, Georgia. So she has, I think when she goes to these fairs, and I have never attended one and I would love to with her, but when she goes to these fairs, I'm sure she blows them away, just like she did us, because she is outstanding.
This is actually Mrs. Salyer's second year with Ashton as an AP student of hers, and she says she was immediately drawn to and overwhelmed, as everyone else is, by what this young lady has been working on.
We were doing a lab, and I was talking about a research paper and how when you go to college, you're going to do these research papers, and this is all the steps you have to take. And that sparked something in Ashton, and she said, "Could you read one of my research papers that I'm writing?" And I was like, "You're writing a research paper?" So she brought it to me, and I reviewed it, and it didn't need anything from me. I didn't have to do anything to it. I said, "Ashton, did you write this yourself? How did you, this is our first research paper in my classroom, so how did you figure out how to write this?" And she's like, "Well, here's this thing that I'm doing. Here's this program that I'm in with, I think it's called JSHS, and I have these mentors, and I'm doing this logarithm." And I just stood there and I was blown away because some of the words she was saying just went over my head. So that's how I came to know about her projects.
In easier terms, what does that all mean? What were you actually showing them?
So essentially I presented a novel algorithm that leveraged features that have never been used before in a cancer identification algorithm. So as for the contents of the project, I showed the creation of 5 different algorithm methods and also a comparison between those 5 methods, along with comparisons between kernel types and cross-validation folds, just to overall show what algorithm yielded the most, which algorithm was the most efficient.
I'm assuming there were positive results out of this, obviously.
Yes, there was. So what made my algorithm unique was it leveraged two novel features that's never been used before. It also had fewer features than other cancer identification algorithms. So other cancer identification algorithms typically have hundreds of features. Mine only had 64. And also, most algorithms have massive data sets of tens of thousands of genes long. Mine only had about 200, but yet my accuracy was still in the same range as theirs, proving that not only the biomarkers were useful, but my algorithm as a whole was useful, because I wanted my algorithm to be adaptable, because cancer data is always changing. It's never the same. It's changing every day. So I just wanted the algorithm to be adaptable with the data that's available at this moment. Biomarkers is prevalent in all cancer patients. So if a person has cancer, their biomarkers are going to be elevated. But the reason why those features weren't used till recently is because there wasn't enough data on them. But scientists have now started to notice a trend. All cancer patients have elevated biomarkers. So they're now beginning more research on the biomarker side concerning cancer. To my knowledge and also my mentor's knowledge, we're the first to ever use biomarkers in a cancer identification algorithm. And was actually able to get a paper published too on this project. And the journal was the Journal of Emerging Investigators, JEI.
Yes, published. Something many very accomplished and experienced researchers work on for years or a lifetime to see happen. And knowing what it would take to make this algorithm and all this research happen, well, she Googled, as she's done very successfully, found and applied for and was given access to government resources, who realized immediately the value of this young lady's mind.
For the algorithm, I actually got a research grant from the United States Army Research Lab to use a supercomputer, which essentially entails I get all these fancy programs for nothing. So I don't have to pay for them. So I get to use like MATLAB for free. So I had to apply for that grant. I applied for it back in October, and I received it early November. And they actually gave me more GPUs and CPUs, which is just access you had to the computer. I don't really know how to explain that besides it's just how much access you get to the computer. They actually gave me extra time on it too because they really liked my project.
Now, with that grant, was that particularly for people that are in high school, or was that just opened up for?
No, it's like the sample because they had like a sample form. Mm-hmm. It was for PhD students. So
sounds about right. Yep.
Yeah.
And if all of that wasn't jaw-droppingly impressive and astounding enough, imagine if you yourself were a researcher or a PhD with years of work and collaboration that's just been corrected by a teenager. And how humbling and how inspiring at the same time that would be.
So my algorithm was actually based on another algorithm called Dorj. And what made their algorithm unique was they were the first one to leverage epigenetics. And that also inspired me to start researching biomarkers too, because I'm like, okay, there's a wider range of features out there besides mutational and genomic base. So I actually contacted the creators of Dorj, not only because of the algorithm I created, but I also did analysis of their algorithm and discovered that some of their features actually over-correlate with each other, and they could delete those features and it would improve their accuracy. Which...
You're correcting those?
Yes, I did.
Wow.
I corrected them.
And who were they?
They were professors at UCLA.
How did they respond to that?
Well, at first, I was only 16 when I done that. So the dude who says, because he had a heavy accent, he was like, I just got corrected by a 16-year-old. Okay, 10 years. 10 years of work. And I'm like, I'm sorry. He's like, no. He's like, this is actually really useful. let me get a paper. So yeah, I was in contact with them for a while, and eventually my algorithm just grew apart from theirs. Like just different interests and stuff, different avenues I went down. But they were helpful. They told us about different types of algorithm methods, and they even told us some things that weren't even in their paper. Like originally they tried a neural network. That's what I was mentioning earlier, which a neural network is good when you have a massive data set of like tens of thousands of genes. Ours was less than 200. So they were like, we tried it on a smaller data set too, it just don't work. So like they gave helpful stuff like that, like helpful information like that.
And just to recap just a bit, in addition to going on to graduate from high school soon, she's already, of course, going to the University of Kentucky, where she may or may not double major, but ultimately become a doctor and a researcher. After going to UK on the very prestigious Singletary Scholarship, I think only the second that we know of in the history of the McGough County High School to do so, and the first female. With her awards, really, I think it's safe to say, only beginning.
I've won regional awards at JSHS, which means I won the Eastern, the Eastern region part of the competition. Also, I won the regional competition at Big Sandy. So the competition I won last week, I won 2 years in a row. I've won an award from Amazon at the Kentucky State Fair, and then I'm a finalist. This will be my second year at ISEF. And I also was a finalist in a science fair in Virginia. It was called iForm.
I would just like to say that I think Ashton's motivation and her personal connection to this scientific topic is her why. I think that is really what drives her and what allows her to just dive deeper into this topic and study and research and be so interested. And I think that if she can carry that on with her through college and through medical school and researching, that we'll see her in the news beyond Your News Today. We'll see her, maybe in national news, because she is driven, and I do think she will succeed with this.
I mean, I really honestly think it's fair and safe to say that this young lady, if not finding a cure, will find a step to a cure.
Absolutely, I agree.
I mean, and to sit here and say that about a student in high school.
In high school, yes. Yeah. I think that she is on her way to great things.
And I've been doing this show for more than 23 years now, and of course have the Sagersville Independent and the privilege of having Heather only be a part of that since 2018, and I hope that when all of this has gone on and moved on past us, that folks look back and they see some of the stories that I've done, certainly some of the headlines that Heather has written, and looks at some of those as being truly inspiring and among the top, and without a doubt, this one certainly will be. Absolutely. I'll be right back. There where every day starts, it's made and it ends. From hitting the floor to hitting the road and back, your feet carry the day's duties. And if you're hurting from what might be a work or sports or stress-related fracture you don't even know about, diabetic, or that all too often heel pain that just won't go away, or any type of pain or discomfort or in need of wound care, come to where they care.
Put your best foot forward and come visit our podiatry team. We care about our patients and their feet.
That's Dr. Cheney and her team at Hope Family Podiatry Center next to Hope Family Pediatrics on the Mountain Parkway. Someone dies in the U.S. every 7 minutes from an overdose, and over half of the population gets or takes pills from a friend or relative. And about 46 million and counting are exposed to narcotics in their drinking water. So don't toss them, flush them, or leave them lying around. Safely dispose of your unneeded meds anytime at Parkway Pharmacy,
where you can always talk to a pharmacist when you need one.
Spring is always the most colorful season of the year at the seasonal shop. Come see for yourself. Gorgeous new clothes for everyone. Bright, flowy tops and dresses. Something perfect for Easter. Fun flare leg jeans and new styles and arrivals every day. New sweatshirts and shorts and tees by Royce, Ridge and Holler, and others. And little sleepies are here, all in an incredibly comfy, cute, and durable bamboo viscose material. All this and so much more that you just have to see this spring at the seasonal shop. What we have here is our famous chicken sandwich at your Sayersville Lee's, which is also Saturday's special. You can get a chicken sandwich, wedges, and a drink for just $6. Friday's special is a liver or gizzard dinner with 2 homemade sides and a biscuit for just $5.79 plus tax. Let's recap. Chicken sandwich, Saturday special, or get it any day of the week. Fridays, livers or gizzards at your Sayersville Lee's famous recipe. All right, from there it's your calendar, a brief one, a few other announcements, and then a look at what is still going to be a chilly weekend ahead. But, first day of spring's Monday, and a little farther down the line than that, getting close to 70. Let's start off the calendar with birthday wishes. A couple of big birthday wishes tonight, and we'll start with Monty B. Happy birthday, Monty. Monty Barnett, that is, from a long list of family and friends. Happy 89th birthday to you. Happy birthday, Monty Barnett. And birthday wishes to Sheila. That's Sheila Allen, mother-in-law and Mamaw. Sheila, happy birthday to you this St. Patrick's Day. Happy birthday to you, too. A quick couple of reminders this evening. First, it's about that time for the little ones. Kindergarten registration starting at the end of this month, close to it, the 27th through the 31st at North Magoffin Elementary. If your child will be 5 on or before August the 1st, stop by the school or give them a call to find out more about getting your child enrolled or children enrolled. And remember, also starting on the 21st, coincidence, nothing to do with that, or related, obviously. The Magoffin County Cleanup Campaign, Spring Cleanup Campaign, countywide, District 3 the 27th, then District 1 the following week, then District 2 the following. And when you've got birthdays or anniversaries or important announcements like these, and you need everyone to know, I need to know so I can tell them. We'd love to have the same kind of announcements as well as birthdays, anniversaries, birth announcements, wedding announcements published in the Independent for free there as well. Just send those to Heather at SayersvilleIndependent.com. I have 2 funeral service announcements for you this evening. Remember, the program was recorded earlier this afternoon, so I do not have the complete listings, but I believe they were being set. But services will be taking place tomorrow at 2 o'clock for Phyllis Brandenburg of Sayersville. Visitation will start at 11 at the Magoffin County Funeral Home, services at 2. And then services will be held this Sunday at 1 for Janie Patrick Conley, who at the age of 76 passed away on today's date at her home, the wife of the late James Russell J.R. Conley. Services will again be Sunday at 1, and visitation will be tomorrow from 6 till 9. For other details, you can go to MagoffinCountyFuneralHome.com.
At Golden Law Office, our attorneys previously represented the nation's largest insurance and trucking companies, handling cases involving serious personal injury and death. We know their strategies, how they will defend the case, and what factors drive large settlements. The attorneys at Golden Law Office can use this inside knowledge to ensure your case is handled effectively and aggressively. Hiring Golden Law Office provides you with a strategic advantage. Call Golden Law Office today.
Don't let Mother Nature be the one to remind you about your tires. Stop by Conley Tire and let them make sure that you're safe in getting from A to B. Tires, wheels, oil changes, brake repair, and maintenance. And be sure to click on ConleyTire.net for all the latest offers with 6 months no interest payments at Conley Tire or ConleyTire.net.
Trade it and upgrade it now at Appalachian Wireless and receive up to $700 off when you trade your old eligible device in and upgrade to a new iPhone 14 Pro Max or Samsung S23 Ultra on a qualifying Appalachian Advantage plan. What better way to start the year off right than with upgrading to a new 5G compatible device on the region's best network while saving up to $700 off on the hottest smartphones. Appalachian Wireless, giving you another reason to come join the Big Blue Network. Why? Because we are you. We are Appalachian Wireless. Wireless.com for full terms and conditions.
Now on to your Licking Valley RECC outlook, looking more like winter than not for the weekend. No surprises. We've known it's coming. It still is, and then no changes. Showers out there still for the evening. We will see showers just very light in nature, and then mostly cloudy skies for the rest of the evening. By the time you're watching this, the showers should just about be gone. Ultimately, mostly cloudy and cold tonight, 26 degrees. Tomorrow, we'll struggle to hit 42, 43 maybe. We will see a chance of flurries tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening, mostly sunny, 42 during the day. Winds brisk at times out of the west up to 20, 22 miles per hour, and flurries mainly before 7 or 8, and then it's on down to 20 for nighttime lows, and even colder than that for your Sunday. A sunny day in the neighborhood for the latter half of your weekend, but this cold air will be firmly in place, and we will not reach 40, I do not think, even with the sunshine above. Closer to 38, and nighttime lows again in that hard freeze category at 18, 20, and 18, and then another 21 for Monday night and then Thursday morning. But sunshine across the board, and temperatures do rebound, as you can see. From 38 Sunday, we'll get up to close to 50 on your Monday. Still sunny, mostly clear, nice and calm. And warmer still, and that's a pattern that is welcomed. Tuesday, 56, mostly sunny. It's going to be a nice day in the neighborhood, much more comfortable. We'll see just below freezing Tuesday night, and then we're out of that for at least a little while, maybe a long while. Remember, Monday of next week, the first day of spring, will be followed by more spring-like conditions. Wednesday, I think we'll probably crack the 60-degree mark, mostly sunny, 43. Shower chances, you will notice, work their way into the picture Wednesday and then hover there around Wednesday and Thursday and into your Friday. But temperatures from the 60-degree mark Wednesday to the mid and upper 60s, I think, Thursday and Friday, with still some sunshine above. Not a washout, just some showers, some sun, and definitely some warmer conditions. More like spring should be. Will this weekend be the last little burst of cold? Wouldn't walk out on that limb very far, would you? It is Kentucky. And that'll do it for tonight. Have a wonderful evening. Have a great weekend, and I hope you have a chance to stop back in next Monday for more of Your News Today. Good night.